Hey guys, it's Sarah. I just wanted to do a quick video this morning for you, and I just want to talk a little bit about creating content primarily for your website, but creating content in general. So, something I'm trying to do at the moment, being multi-passionate as well and having loads of different channels, web design, not-for-profits, business, is create content consistently because it is so important to be consistent with it. And I see a lot of people who, when they launch their website, it just kind of sits there and they have all the intention to create regular content, because I think that is something we talk about during the design and build process, is creating regular content. And the intention is definitely there, but life gets in the way a lot of the time, especially if you're in a business where you're required a lot, heavily in the day-to-day running of the business. It's just finding the time and the headspace to put content out there. So some people have the website launch and create content quite well for a while, maybe a few weeks or a couple of months, and they're churning out content every week. And then something happens, life gets a bit busier and it just goes quiet, silent, and then that's it. And you get some people who, probably once every 4, 5, 6 months, something like that, suddenly think, whoa, I should have put a blog post out by now. So you get these sort of intermittent content. Neither strategies work very well. So I thought today I'd just talk a little bit about content production. So although my own businesses rely a lot on content production and consistent content as well, I still struggle with it a lot. Again, with young children, it is difficult to get into that headspace and just physically have the time to create content. So right now I'm recording this whilst my youngest is in the other room watching TV, which isn't ideal, but it's the only way to do it sometimes. So these are some of my tips on how to make consistent content production as easy as possible for yourself. So there's a lot of different theories and ways you should be, or ways that are recommended to be kind of cracking this nut. Well, I think when you're right at the beginning, you need to boil it down to the bare essentials. So you need to get regular content out there to get seen, basically. Otherwise, no one's going to know you exist. So what is the type of content, firstly, that comes most easiest to you? So if you find that you're quite good at writing and you've got pockets of time perhaps throughout the week where you can quite happily just sit and write something, whether it's in a notebook or on your laptop, then if writing is something that's coming easy to you, focus on that and nothing else right now. If you just want to talk, and maybe you've got quite a few people lined up that you could potentially interview or chat to and record that and use that as a podcast episode, then perhaps starting a podcast might be an area you can just focus on. Another one is, of course, video, which is what I'm doing now. I'm finding personally at the moment that although writing historically has come the easiest to me, to create the kind of articles that are going to be the most useful for my audience and my readers, I'm finding it difficult to carve out that time at the moment to really sit and write an in-depth article. Because, in the past I've done where I've had, say, 30 minutes and I can crack out a blog post and write something, but it's not something that my audience would find useful, just simply because I've not had the time and the available energy to put into it to make it a really useful piece of content that people really want to read. So it ends up being one of those blog posts that just gets slapped on the website, and it doesn't really do anything in terms of SEO, ranking for any particular keywords, and people aren't really reading it. Stick to one medium to start with. And as well, I think we have a tendency to, there's the balance of kind of getting things out, content out there that's really good and useful, but we have that tendency to like be perfectionists. So, you know, in terms of writing, that might be having the article completely polished, fantastic. It's covered every single point. You know, if it's a long article, you've got to say, okay, I could add more to this article, but if I keep leaving it, it's not going to get published and it's not going to get out there and people aren't going to read it. So is it at a state where you could say, okay, it's ready to press publish and ready to get it out there, and then schedule some time in the future to go back to the article and update it and edit it and look at it again, and is there anything else you could add then? So more sort of taking imperfect action. It doesn't have to be absolutely fantastic, 100% polished and finished. If it's already useful, then just get it out there and get it published. Whatever you can do to start getting content out there consistently is just going to help move you forwards. And don't forget, if you do something like, again, we'll take the example of video, start recording videos and put them out there, for example. You can get quite a few services where you can get the video transcribed. You know, so you can take the points and the information you've raised in the video and create a blog post, a written blog post, which is exactly what I'm going to do. You can also, you know, record video episodes and put them out as audio, as a podcast. Do the same with podcast to blog, but you know, you can repurpose that content into different mediums and share it in different places so that it's going to get seen by the most amount of people as possible. And then one final point about publishing your content and sharing it. Okay, so as much as possible, you want your content to be on your website. You want to get people on your website. So that's like that's your house, your building for all your content. So if you're creating pieces of content that aren't time sensitive, you know, I could be talking about this now, I could have talked about it a year ago, I could talk about it in 8 months' time, then you can repurpose that content as well as sharing it again. So you might share it at the time it's actually published, and then you can continue to share it on social media in the future and come back to that post. As you grow your audience, people get bigger and bigger, then you're going to have more people who haven't seen it at the beginning, perhaps when it was published. So you can take the time to reshare that particular post and get more eyeballs on it. When we're talking about sharing on social media as well, again, this is a rabbit hole I've fallen down to myself numerous times over the years, is trying to share everything over every social media channel. So having an account on everything. So pick basically where your target audience is. That's the first thing you need to find out, where your target audience are, what are they spending their time on, and what are you spending your time on, what are you most comfortable sharing or chatting to other people or connecting on, which social media channel. So you need to know those two things before you kind of take action. So make a start on one channel. It could be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just make a start on one channel and be consistent with it. The good thing to help you with things like getting over to more than one social media channel is that there are loads of tools out there now that can kind of automate posts as well, and as well as scheduling, sharing to other social media channels, you know. So if you're sharing something on like Instagram, it will go straight to Facebook, or you can get it shared straight to Twitter, things like that. So some social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram are kind of meshed together, and you can quite easily share a piece of content quickly to both platforms. And some require more integration through things like Zapier, which is something I'm probably going to cover in another video or blog post quite soon. But just pick one social media channel to really be present on. So like really be present to like answer people's questions or just chat to people. And then you can use your automation tools to start automating out your sharing of your content to other social media channels as well, where you may not be hanging out. So I hope this has helped. Just a few tips there on content creation and sharing. And don't forget, you can listen to the Multi-Passionate Mamas podcast. That is on like Spotify and iTunes. I think it might be on Google Play as well. It's also on the website at sasstomlinson.com. You can find all the latest episodes up there with all the latest written blog posts as well. Fantastic. So see you soon. And if you haven't already, do sign up to the Multi-Passionate Mamas Digest. So that's the main way I'm communicating with people at the moment is through our fortnightly email. So that's a good digest roundup of really useful stuff from around the web for multi-passionate mamas who are running their own business and juggling life, children and business and everything in between.